on 2K Sports. It's Tuesday Hoops, and it's next. It'll be Joe Johnson and the Atlanta Hawks facing off against the Los Angeles Lakers. And that's all from the studio.
We'll be bringing you an interconference matchup in this one as the Hawks make a trip on the road. And we hope you're having a great Tuesday. Welcome, everyone, to the NBA on 2K Sports. I'm Kevin Harlan. Joining me this evening, as always, Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. Looking at the starting five for the Atlanta Hawks. Smith and Horford at the 4 and the 5. Teague out there with Heinrich. And it's Johnson in at the 3 slot. And for the Lakers, Howe and Bynum going up the middle. Kobe and World Peace are the wingmen, and it's Sessions in at the 5.
Well, you know, a recent stat said that in the last 15 years, the Lakers are on average the best offense in the NBA. But in crunch time, ironically, they fall to around 12th best offensively. Not nearly as effective.
So Atlanta will get the first possession. Teague, the pass to Heinrich. Passes to Johnson. Heinrich hits to Johnson. Covered by World Peace. 6 to shoot. Releases from 15. That's good from Johnson on the assist by Horford. Johnson's got the opening bucket of the night here for the Hawks. But going back to the Lakers and their letdown as far as crunch time offense goes. Good point by you. Steve, you take it now. Why do you think that's so?
Well, I think Kobe's not the player that he once was, Kevin. I mean, he's not as athletic. He's not as capable as he used to be getting shots off against any type of defense. And I think the rest of the guys maybe lost a little confidence in themselves as a result.
We'll go to Doris Burke, who spoke with head coach Mike Brown. What's the news there, Doris?
Well, I asked him what strategy they were going to use at the offensive end, and he told me that they did not want to have to rely on their perimeter game. Instead, he plans to exploit what he described as a mismatch on the interior, saying, quote, "We have the talent inside to make things very difficult on them. We're going to use it." Kevin?
Great. Thanks for the report, Doris.
You know, you look at Joe Johnson and the number of minutes he's already logged in his career, and you wonder about him needing maybe to log fewer as he goes forward and gets a little older. You just don't know how much more effective he can be if he continues to log the heavy minutes.
They get it again. Teague. That's tipped. And here's Los Angeles. 4-point game. And here's Kobe from the arc. And the shot is good. Kobe's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3. Look at those numbers, Clark, about Joe Johnson. 4 seasons over 40 minutes a game. 3 others over 38 minutes a game. Steve, I think it's starting to take its toll, perhaps.
Well, it could. I think the one thing about Joe Johnson, though, he doesn't really rely on athleticism in his game. He relies more on footwork and strength and power and skill. And so he's going to be able to be a very effective player for a long time as long as he stays healthy.
And it's the Hawks with the ball, following the three-pointer by Kobe Bryant. The three-pointer off the mark.
A clear look at the hoop. He doesn't miss many of those.
Now here's Barnes. Good ball movement. Feeds it to Sessions. McGrady against Barnes. That's no good. Couldn't get his first shot to go. And so here is Atlanta.
Well, Atlanta was a playoff team a year ago, and they won their share of games. But they didn't appear to be a contender. And despite all the talent that they've had the last few years, you just have to wonder which direction this franchise is headed.
Gasol backing down. Beyond the arc. And again, it's the Lakers from deep. Steve, that remark you had about Atlanta. They kind of backed into the playoffs, but Clark, they woke up when they got there.
They did. I mean, it seemed like they were sleepwalking through the regular season, inconsistent and not being able to put together any kind of strong winning streaks. And when the playoffs came around, they showed you what we thought we were going to see during the regular season.
Yeah, you're right. A nice shot by Teague. Here's Kobe. 1:56 left here in the first quarter. Bynum dishes to Barnes. It's Kobe Bryant on the wing. Takes a three. Atlanta with the rebound. Even numbers, 4-on-4. Here's Johnson. And you can count it. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it three.
You know, after the disappointing end to their 2010 playoff push, the Hawks decided to make a change at the head coaching position and went with Larry Drew at the helm.
Looking at who's out there now for the Lakers. Jordan Hill, he's checked in for Bynum. Murphy comes in for Pau Gasol. And Steve Blake is subbed in for Sessions. They had Clark back to Drew. They had Mike Woodson. He took him to the playoffs, but Larry Drew takes his place. Drew was on his staff. It was scrutinized early, but, you know, Steve, he took him back into the playoffs and deep into the playoffs.
Well, and that was their goal. They wanted to get back to winning a series in the postseason. And Drew was able to do that. They beat Orlando in the first round, and then they gave Chicago all they could handle in round two.
And here's Heinrich following the three-pointer by Kobe Bryant. Heinrich with it. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. Pass to Horford. He's against Hill. The jump hook. And Horford finishes inside.
3 straight buckets in the paint. They're making it look effortless.
Well, speaking of effortless, you'd like to see a little more out of the defense. How about trying, guys?
Barnes kicks to Kobe. Blake for three. That's in, coming off an assist by Kobe. Blake's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. Now here's Heinrich, guarded by Blake. Heinrich kicks to Williams. Back to Heinrich. Pulls it up. The rebound by Kobe Bryant.
Tell you what, despite the miss, he shouldn't hesitate to take those kinds of looks when he gets them. That's a good shot.
Backing him down is Johnson. It's deflected. Now here is Hill. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot two.
Great strength there. Absorbs the contact and still gets the shot off.
Just about fell in. Very close to a three-point play there.
2 shots.
And it's tied up with that one. Puts up a prayer. It's the end of the first with a tie game here. And already these offenses, Clark, are clicking. Live from the Staples Center, you're watching 2K Sports. Well, it's been a tight one so far as we get the second quarter going back here. Here's Blake.
Boy, I tell you, the Lakers are always tough on their home court. I mean, visiting teams can get a little starstruck, too. I mean, all kinds of celebrities hanging out in the crowd. Just as many famous people watching as actually playing in the game when you go play the Lakers.
And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor, all fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. So the Lakers 5 right now. World Peace and Pau in the forward slots. Sessions out there with Steve Blake, and it's Hill in at the pivot spot manning the middle. Let's check out what Doris Burke has for us.
Guys, Kobe Bryant becomes the youngest player in NBA history to score 27,000 points, edging out Wilt Chamberlain, and one of just a list of NBA records to his name. But asked about the records, he said, "I don't know about them until they come up. When I'm older and I'm like 70 years old or something like that, maybe then I'll get a little more sentimental. But right now, I just want to win." Guys, if you think Kobe Bryant is done with that, you've got another thing coming.
Yeah, championship mentality, Doris. Good point. Thanks. I'm going back to that Lakers home record, 30-11. Last season, tied for the 5th best home record in the league. And Steve, you start overlapping, you know, the star watching at the games, the good play on the floor. That's quite a scene.
It's a great scene. One of the great venues in the NBA. And the Lakers, they're competitive year in and year out. And they'll continue to be a tough team, whether it's at Staples Center or on the road.
And the Lakers with some changes. Andrew Bynum's checked in for Hill. And Kobe is subbed in for Steve Blake. Here is Heinrich, looking for his first bucket of the game. Williams, covered by World Peace. And Smith backing in. Heinrich against Kobe. Kobe with the steal.
Now, the defender was so close to him on that cup fake that he just took the ball out of his hands. And that steal led to that easy transition basket.
You know, Steve, they've got those guys reeling a little bit right now.
Now, here is Smith. Over to Saul. Atlanta again, missing.
Good, tough defense there. Getting a hand up, forcing that miss.
Well, he's got the reputation of being a tough defender, and there was an example right there for you.
I thought Gasol got off to such a fast start last season, but he might have worn down as the season went on. He was asked to play big minutes, especially early when Andrew Bynum was out with the injury.
Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Nice time to use that foul to stop the layup.
You know, if you can save just 1 point, that foul was the right move.
And he makes the first. And then, of course, for Paul Gasol in the playoffs, a lot of disappointment with his play, Clark. A game, in fact, or 2 where he even got booed at the Staples Center.
Yeah, you never like to see that, but he clearly did struggle in the playoffs, and he's extremely gifted, but some have tended to try to question his mental toughness or killer instinct, and I quite honestly think it's unfair. He's got a disposition and demeanor that lends itself to that kind of criticism, but anytime you can perform the way he has, that's impressive, and it actually helps.